Air Force veteran and Senator from the great state of South Carolina, Lindsey Graham. Good morning, Senator.
Good morning. Good
morning. You were tweeting out, you said to Putin, you said, if you continue down this road, you will regret it. Justice will be delivered. Yeah. So what is the next step?
Well, number one, what would I like the President of the United States to say? I believe Ukraine can win. I'm committed to them winning. I will hold Putin accountable. He needs to go. He's a war criminal on an industrial scale. Have you ever heard this administration embrace the idea that Ukraine can win? So no. What does it take for them to win? More. We need ship missiles. I've been watching your show all morning. You know, I'm having a hard time sleeping here. And your show's good. I mean, if we had anti-ship missiles, we could sink most of their Navy.
Harpoons.
If they had the MiGs, yeah, harpoons. Just look at it this way. Name one weapon system we've given the Ukrainians they haven't used effectively. Denying them the MiGs is irresponsible and unconscionable, and the reason changes every week. Admiral Kirby, who's a nice guy, said on your show about 3 days ago, well, that's up to the polls. 3 days before that, they said if you give them the MiGs, it'll lead to World War III. So this administration, when it comes to Ukraine, is incredibly slow, incredibly indecisive. So give them MiGs, give them the S-300, give them anti-ship missiles, put sanctions on the table so China can understand what comes their way if they bail out Putin, and declare today that if chemical weapons are used by the Russian military against the Ukrainian people, that will lead to a no-fly zone by NATO because that's a war crime. And if there's a nuclear explosion in the Ukraine, then the contamination that would exist throughout Europe would be considered an attack on NATO by Russia. If you're not that clear to Putin, you're making a huge mistake. If we come out of this summit and we don't have clarity about chemical weapons and nuclear weapons, and we don't mention winning for Ukraine, then it's a big mistake.
So do you think the president has to mention that as remarks, or has to come out of NATO spokespeople, other leaders? You need the president to say this?
Well, Boris Johnson has said this. I need the president of the United States to stop betting on Putin winning. Their whole strategy has been that we expect Putin to win in a few days, and Zelensky and the Ukrainian people have thrown a wrinkle into the Biden plan to end this war. What I fear now is pressure on Zelensky by Biden, Germany, and others to end the war in a fashion that would make Putin stronger. I know there's pressure being put on the Ukrainians to do a peace deal that I think would be dishonorable and would make Putin stronger. I would like to end the war, and the best way to end this war is to help the Ukrainian people break the Russian army. I think the Russian army is on the verge of being broken if we can continue to help the Ukrainians with the weapons they need to take the fight to the Russians. So I would love to see in my lifetime Joe Biden mention victory for Ukraine.
Well, let's see what today brings. Meanwhile, yesterday and the day before, you were on TV pretty much all day, from sunup to sundown. Yesterday was the second day of the confirmation hearings for Ketanji Brown Jackson, as she is being vetted, essentially, for the open post, Stephen Breyer's post on the Supreme Court when he leaves sometime this summer. Here's an excerpt of you during yesterday's testimony. You, like a lot of Republicans, talking about how her record shows she's soft on crime and might be an activist justice. Watch this.
With one click, you can receive, you can distribute tens of thousands. You can be doing this for 15 minutes, and all of a sudden, you are looking at 30, 40, 50 years in prison.
Good. Good.
I understand.
Absolutely
Senator,
good. I hope you are.
So it sounds like, if it's really easy when you commit the crime, maybe you shouldn't do as much time. That's her logic, it sounds like.
So let me tell you, it's just not about the fact that every time she has a child pornography case, she gives one of the lowest sentences possible that bothers me. It's the system she uses to impose the sentence itself. I want to live in a world where if you go on the internet and every time you push a button to get an image of a child being sexually exploited, your jail time goes up. In her world, she does not hold that against you. She refuses to enhance a sentence because the internet's being used, and she refuses to impose a sentence based on the volume of material. So I want to live in a world that every time you click that button, your jail time goes up, and this judge refuses to impose a sentence consistent with that theory. It's not that she's soft on pornography crimes, that her sentencing regimes are irresponsible and there's no deterrence. You know what she said was deterrence? Supervising the computer use of a child pornographer. I think deterrence is throwing their ass in jail.
You voted for her once. Will you not vote for her this time?
After 2 days, I am now more convinced than ever that I understand why Demand Justice and every radical left-wing group chose her as their primary candidate. Stay tuned. You will hear a forcible response by Senator Graham about this judge.
Murkowski and Collins voted yes as well.
Last time.
Last time.
Senator, thank you very much for joining us live.
Thanks, Senator. Great to see you.
Thank you.